to the call tonight. You're here tonight if you've not seen this presentation before to see, as you can see on the screen, the opportunity of a lifetime. What Carelumina is presenting to you tonight is an opportunity for you to participate in a genomic cancer screening test that we've been appointed by, I guess, the government, not appointed, but we've been given the opportunity by the federal government to go out and find people that qualify to have this cancer screening done to determine whether or not they may carry a genetic marker that could potentially mutate into cancer one day. As we all know, cancer is a horrible disease. It's affected probably many of us, most of us in our lives in one way or another, personally or with friends or family. And we are just so excited to be a part of this mission. We call it a mission, and that's what it is, to go out and try and fight this dreadful disease. And in the meantime, we have the opportunity to make a business out of it. With Carelumina, we've got the opportunity to build a team, to bring other people on board to help get out there and do this testing with us. If you came on board just to look at this as an individual opportunity for yourself, that's perfectly fine, and that's what many of us are doing. But just so you know, there is a potential to build a big team and have a lot of residual income as well from people below you that you don't even know. And that's what my husband and I are doing. Kenny and I got started back on December 6th, and it's just been incredible. We've been able to share this with probably 40 or 50 people personally, and that's turned into over 1,800 people on this team alone. And you guys are all part of our team if you're already involved. For those that are looking at this for the first time tonight, we welcome you to the call, and we hope that you can take away some great information to make an informed decision about whether this is something for you or not. So I'm going to go ahead and get this meeting started. I'm going to turn it over to my good friend, Michael O'Brien. He's going to explain to you exactly what this test consists of, how it works, and also how you can profit from it and make money by doing the test and by building a team if that's something you're interested in. So Michael, if you're there, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Yes, I am, Frances. Can you hear me fine?
You're a little low. If you have the volume control, you can turn it up just a little.
Oh, sure. Here we go. Let me see if I can do that. Thank you. Turn that up here.
Yeah.
Technology, that should be going up.
It is. It sounds much better.
How's that? Much better?
There you go. That's better.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, Frances. And I really appreciate it. And, the first thing I want to do is give it back to you, Frances, for all your support and all the tireless effort that you put into this. We had a chance to meet on another opportunity, taking a company to the marketplace. And I just want to say thank you. It means a lot. Appreciate you, Frances.
You're welcome. I appreciate you. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. Well, it's an honor to be here. And folks, welcome to the Carelumina Genomic Screening Overview. And tonight, folks, I'm going to do my very best at helping connect the dots on an extraordinary opportunity. I've had the good fortune of helping take companies to the marketplace in my career. And folks, we're going to move through this rather crisply. I know everyone's time is of value. So you might want to get something to write down some of these facts with, because they could be very valuable to you. So let's get started. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us this evening. Now, you have the opportunity to participate in a program that's so extraordinary, folks. And in my lifetime, I've not seen something that has the aspects that you'll find here, that has the possibility of significant financial rewards and the ability to touch others' lives in a unique way. You just don't typically see the marriage of those two things. But my backstory, folks, is I got tapped on the shoulder here for this opportunity back in mid to late December. And one of the things that stood out to me was what made this opportunity great, and how did I just come all in on January 1st? And, who doesn't want to get behind something where you can participate in a program to eradicate cancer. And as I took a step closer to the opportunity, it moved closer to me. And it was primarily because the strength of the foundation. There were like 4 or 5 aspects, but the one that jumped out to me, the foundation in the partner company. So important to understand, folks, in Jacksonville, Florida, there is a 23-year-old company by the name of Ocenture, and it's headquartered in a building that houses the very opportunity that was hand in glove for this opportunity. And we're going to learn more about that company and why it was handpicked by some of the owners of Ocenture, who are some of the owners of that company. Now, this company has processed and submitted from 8,000 to 10,000 DNA screens per month to labs for over 4 years now in a white label capacity. Folks, that's over 400,000 of these DNA screens. So I saw a company with almost a quarter century background over 23 years with well over a 90% pull-through rate. You're going to learn more about that term. That simply means from submission to completion of the screen. Folks, you just don't see that every day. And an impressive 14 labs are in contract. So basically, you have a situation where an established company has handpicked, and this company, folks, was so impressive, handpicked another company it owns in the same building in Jacksonville. Now, I know many of you have been affiliate marketers or in network marketing or sales in your life, but folks, I know I've never been aligned with a company that has such iconic companies it has worked with during that 23-year tenure. I mean, look at these companies. Wells Fargo, a 200-year-old company. Sprint, Hilton, Dish, it goes on and on. That really stood out to me and helped me appreciate it. And folks, I'm going to brag on the CEO here. This gentleman in the upper right-hand corner, his name is Fraser Burns. And the reason why I oriented this slide the way I did, you see, Ocenture's already been in the genomic testing space for 4 years, over 400,000 screens, and has hand-selected and placed a genetic screening opportunity right into a perfect fit, because the culture of Carelumina is health and wellness. And folks, I want to give a big shout out to Mr. Ken Chick there here on the lower right, who thought highly enough of me to tap me on the shoulder. Thank you so much, Ken, for all you do for everybody. And there's Mr. Fraser Burns. Now, folks, above that in the upper right-hand corner, just a couple of weeks ago, 35 representatives with open arms. The company opened its doors on an open house, and Mr. Fraser Burns fielded questions for over 3.5 hours, folks. A real demonstration to me of transparency. And when he spoke of where the company came from, where it is, and where it's going with such conviction, folks, I felt everyone's belief levels in that room soar. Let's keep it moving. Now, Carelumina is a direct selling company in existence for just over 2 years, but don't forget, it's to the hip with a company right there in Jacksonville with an impressive track record we just went over. A strong infrastructure already in place and built. And recently, in late November, Carelumina introduced a new division in genetic screening as a service. Now, the opportunity here, folks, the position is as a patient intake specialist, and you want to make sure that you understand the enormity of that responsibility. We provide information on the benefits of genetic cancer screening. You know, a new term, was bestowed upon me here with being an advocate. And you really want to get in touch with what that is, folks, because that's the spirit of the position as a patient intake specialist. We advocate early detection, and we pre-qualify using questionnaires provided by the company. We input data on a HIPAA-compliant electronic health record system. We connect the patient to a third-party verification team member in the spirit of that compliance. We connect with a telehealth doctor to establish a medical benefit, also known as telehealth. Now, that is owned by Ocenture, and that's important to note, folks. And the telehealth doctor, will establish if we swab the patient, and you simply swab the package, you put it into the package and you send it overnight to Carelumina in Jacksonville in the United States Postal Service priority bag. And you can put up to 20 into that one bag, folks, I've come to learn. Let's keep it moving. Now, I think that advanced a little bit far ahead. Bear with me 1 second, folks. It hopped on its own. That's the nature of Zoom sometimes. Here we go. Now, to qualify, a lot of people want to know, what is the story with this? Well, it's a Medicare qualification process, folks, and we keep it super simple. If you just have A, you're not going to qualify. You've got to have right there A and B, as it's depicted right here, okay? So super simple. If you need to, take a picture of that. Now, certain PPOs and Medicaid in certain states prevails. And folks, sometimes people, they don't have that B and they have to turn to their insurance carrier. Take a note of some of these, really large insurance companies that really hold most of the people in the situation in their companies. Now, you want to make note there, they have to have the PPO. And what's really exciting to me is if you know people in Colorado, if you're tuning in from Colorado, Missouri, and Georgia, get excited, because not only can, this apply to you in those states, because Medicare patients in all 49 states and Puerto Rico qualify if they answer some of the questions we're going to go over and have Medicare A and B, but also Medicaid, which is a game changer in those 3 states. The company's looking to expand that. But imagine this, folks, in those 3 companies, Medicaid goes down to 21 years of age all the way up to 85, in addition to being qualifiable with Medicare in those states. So those are, sea change situations in Colorado, Missouri, and Georgia. Now, there's further qualifications. There's new information here. You want to take notes. They're known as first-degree relatives if they're your parents or sisters or brothers or children, or if you're a survivor in any one of these in that first category, okay, and they had those other requirements we went over, then they would qualify. And then any 2 of these in the second and third degree relatives with a history of cancer. As you can see denoted there, grandparents, uncles, aunts, nephews, nieces, and so forth. Now, it's important to note there's a third qualification here. The person has to have a chief complaint. And, Mr. Tony Baldwin, I want to give a big shout out to you out there in Charlotte, North Carolina. He's done plenty of these screens. And folks, you just want to have insightful questions, as he has taught myself and others. You just want to find out from the person, are you having trouble sleeping? Are you having trouble waking up? Are you going to bed too early? Do you have any pains or aches? You want to ask a little bit more than just surface questions. And believe me, to his point, anyone 65 and older, they're going to have some issues most likely. So you just want to take it to another level of scrutiny in your questions. So they need to have that third, qualification to have the chief complaint. Couple of points. We do not do any billing. We do not work for Medicare. We are not medical professionals. Don't forget, we're patient intake specialists. Carelumina is contracted with the labs. The labs are contracted with Medicare, and we are not getting paid by Medicare. Okay, so understand the flow of things here is very important. Now let's move on to the all-exciting opportunity here, folks. And there's a dual opportunity here. You can be a patient intake specialist, what we call a personal producer, or you can team build, or it's actually a triple play. You can do a little bit of both. But real quickly, as with any business, your results may vary. Results will be based on your individual effort, your business experience, your level of desire, and there are no guarantees concerning the level of success you may experience. The pay plan for qualified screens, folks, all of us got so excited. Recently, there was a scale, ranging from 300 to 900. And recently, the company announced a flat fee for each properly submitted CGX screen, and the person qualifies will pay $600. Folks, these take typically around 20 to 30 minutes to perform. And, a lot of us have never seen anything the likes of that. Now, there's another test known as a pharmacogenomic test, and it's abbreviated, thank goodness there, PGX, will pay $180. And folks, that's a test that on another presentation we can break down, and it tests to make sure the person is taking their medications properly. And overrides are paid through 6 levels up. We're going to go into that a little bit further. And the bonus pools for those who qualify. Folks, you're going to see depicted in this compensation plan, the shape of this company's heart is very generous. Let's keep it moving. Now, I had the good fortune of meeting this gentleman, Mr. Fred Stones, and he shared with Mr. Tony Baldwin recently that, it's just one a day. I'm having a hard time sleeping. And Mr. Tony Baldwin thought he was, taking too many or not enough of those one-a-day vitamins. But really what it was, folks, if you just did one screen a day, you're looking at a prolific income here at $219,000 a year. And, obviously, we're not making income claims here, folks. We're speaking to the potential here. Get excited on the potential. Obviously, you've got to do a lot of action. You've got to manage your time, right? You've got to be coachable, but let's look at the potential in this extraordinary opportunity. It is outstanding. Now, I love the flexibility of this model when I took a look at it, because many of us come from a background of building teams, but someone can go out and just be a personal producer. There's no requirement to team building here. But it's nice to know if you ever wanted to learn more about that, or if you have a background in that, you can do the blend of both screening and team building. It's awesome, the elasticity that's here, folks. And, there is the potential of much larger financial rewards. The operative term there, folks, is potential. When you're building teams, and many times this has been shared with me over my career, it's known as network, not net play marketing. Network, you got to go to work and roll your sleeves up. But folks, let's take a closer look at what happens when you put yourself in that position. And folks, this is just incredible. If you orient your vision all the way to the left and you look at the, position coming in as a brand ambassador, that's what that BA stands for there, folks, when you come in, and orient your vision all the way to the right there with presidential. You never see this, folks. You want to talk about an even level playing field. And the other thing you don't see is, look at this. This is extraordinary. Down 6 levels. On the top end of this, you're going to make the same income on the generations, folks. That's per screen, per person, per level. Look at that. $50, you don't ever see that as the levels grow down. It just depicts such a generous heart. Talk is cheap, and, they are depicting it here in actions. And folks, we're going to learn about how people got involved into this opportunity in mid-December, and they've already worked their way well through the middle of this plan and are well on their way towards the top. Now, how fast do we get paid? If I had a dollar for every time I've heard that, there's not one answer for that, folks. The first time is between 15 to 45 days there. I know it says 30. I didn't spot that earlier. I'm sorry. It's actually 15 to 45 days. Make that adjustment later. But if you stop and wait, folks, it's going to be different, and you don't want to wait. But if you put in new business every week, you'll find that you get paid every week once you start getting going. Let's take a look at the cost to get started, folks. If any of you have ever started a business, it doesn't seem to end with all the different permits and licenses and legal fees and IT and marketing costs. It just never ends. Fit up costs. Are you kidding me? $200. And then the $25 monthly fee, folks, it actually has a practical application with a bonus thrown in because you're going to utilize the telehealth when you're doing your screening. Plus, the bonus I was talking about, you get to use the telehealth service and your family. So realize this, folks, there's an application of that $25 per month in a kind of dual manner. You're going to use it for your business, and you're also going to be able to benefit. I know I don't want to be traipsing over to the doctor and sitting in a room full of sick people when I can have the service done and leverage technology right from my computer or my phone. But there's a very interesting element and aspect here that really showed me how much care went into this model. And that's when you take a look at this right here, folks. This is known as a training bonus. And I designed this. Why is there a question mark after that? Because you just don't see this every day. You receive that, but you earn it because you're going to show your prospect, now a new patient intake specialist, how to get properly trained. And they're going to become aware of the other products, which is important as we are going to continue this presentation for that person to understand at a higher level. And it was so clever to design this like that, folks, because, you can only act on what you know. And in many other programs, a link gets sent out and the person enrolls, and they're really not aware at any level of familiarity to write home about the entire opportunity. That's not the case here, folks. So you can put yourself in a position to get somebody on board properly trained and ignite that all-important training bonus. Very, very important to understand. Now, folks, I want to give a big shout out to Kenny and Francis Williams, who through focused effort and determination and just old-fashioned hard work have moved themselves into the prestigious national manager's position. Christian McFarland is now a regional. Awesome job. Nancy Huseth, way to go, Nancy. Kelly Dix and Steve Pollitt and Mark Goldberg. Folks, add your name tomorrow to this as you get more familiar with how the program works by attending, these overviews and how the points work. You can absolutely put yourself in that position. We have a community of servant leaders here, folks, the likes of which many of us have never seen. And folks, we're here to help you succeed in this extraordinary opportunity. And on that note, what you want to do is get back to the person who invited you. Get all your questions answered. Let's help you understand this. And if this is a fit for you, join us in the fight against cancer. Folks, I've never seen an opportunity that has 4 aspects under one roof: a rock-solid foundation, an in-demand service, something potentially lucrative, and a purpose-centric opportunity. You just don't see that, and it's right here. Now, folks, right here is the schedule. What I'm going to do is leave this up and implore you to take your phones out so you can take a picture of this. It has every detail you would need, and I want you to note it's every single day of the week. We are touching people every single day, if you notice that, right? The commitment is demonstrated here. A lot of opportunities talk. We do it in action, folks. Take a look there. Take that picture. You have all the connectivity numbers and links and all that right there. Now you can text it. And you're teaching people this simple process to understand this overview. Folks, I started at 8:30. We're looking at it before 9. This isn't an act of Congress to understand the most extraordinary opportunity many of us have ever seen. When you come back tomorrow at 1, you're going to have the dots connected in another 20 to 25 minute overview by the one and only Mr. Tony Baldwin. And then look at that, folks. In the same day, get back with others who would appreciate this and bring them on board, and let's pack and stack and rack it out at 8:30 in the same day, okay? These gentlemen knock it out of the park. Tony Baldwin and Christian McFarland. Ken Chick is slated there for Wednesday. You can see the whole lineup right there, folks. So with that, folks, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out tonight. And we'll see everyone here tomorrow at 1 o'clock. That's Eastern time now, as you note there, right up there on top, 1 o'clock Eastern time, right here in this same room. We'll see everyone there. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you, Francis, for joining me tonight and helping out as you always do. Take care, everyone, and have an awesome rest of your evening.